stand for pride. One more season till we flip the ride. You want the throne, you gotta earn that ring. Let's see who wears it when we crown the king. This is game day, lights on, lights hot. Let's ride. Snap back to the action, cleats in the turf, blood in the dirt, now tell me what it's worth. Jiggy got 2, Buck Nuts got 1, but the field's full of sharks and they smell that run. Coaches talk big, fans scream loud, but only one team gets to stay in that crowd. Game of the week, yeah, we circle it red. Legends get born and the week play dead. Live from the booth, we break it all down. Game of the week, who's taking the crown? Boom! Lights on, helmets crash. Last day is one shot, make it last. Crowds don't wait for the timid assault. If you ain't built for war, better walk off. Boom! That's how bears get loud. Marching the history, chasing that crown. Who's got the heart? Who's got the grit? This is season 32. This is it, this is game day, where the stories get told. One last run before this version folds. No scripts here, just fate and fight. No second chances on Saturday night. Pick your poison, run that play. Every dog got bark till you bring that pain. This ain't no story, it's live on the set, where the field gets wet from the blood and sweat. So line them up, coaches, stars, the elite. Who's taking this crown? Who's tasting defeat? The countdown's over. We're alive. This is game day. One final chapter to write. Will it be Jiggy? Will it be Buck Nut? Or will the whole damn field rise up and ignite?
What's everyone going on now? I mean, what's everybody up to today? This is Lick. I got Pat and Penguin with me today on College Game Day leading up to the national championship. Number 9, LSU Tigers facing off against number 3, Oregon Ducks. How's everyone doing today?
Good. Pat, how about you?
I'm very good. Just excited to watch this game. Sorry for the echo. I'm not going to wear my headset because I'll look like a nerd. No offense to anyone that is wearing a headset on this show.
Both of us. I love it.
Just kidding.
Yeah, man. So what's everyone going on? What's everybody been up to? I know we've had a long break and stuff. The championship took a couple weeks to get organized just with the schedules and stuff.
Just enjoying the summer and the heat, taking a little time off and counting the days till NCAA 26.
Yeah, I've been, God, I hate to say it, working out a lot. It's terrible. I'd much rather be playing video games. Was in Andy's fun little off-season tournament. Appreciate him again running those kinds of things. It's nice to always play new people in the league. Yeah, just, running around town and stuff.
How is the new town there? How long have you been in North Carolina now?
Time flies. I think it's been 3 months. It'll be 4 months here pretty soon, I think. Yeah, but super stoked. Got a big party. We're doing an Airbnb at Lake Norman for the next Thursday through Saturday, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim?
Man, I'm just kind of getting the summer, I guess. So me and my family got a big trip to the Bahamas coming up in the end of July, and it'll be like right after the game launches. And so we've just been kind of doing that right now. Other than that, that's about it. One of our oldest boy broke his wrist, and so we've just been kind of doing that. And we have a 2-year-old, and so they're just doing the whole kid thing this summer, really.
Yeah, so much fun sometimes.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the YouTube thing. You guys got to bear with me. It says it's private right now, and I don't know how to change that. You know why? Because it's the first time I've used YouTube, so I don't know how to fix that.
Someone in the audience know how we can fix that?
Yeah, how do we fix it to make it it just shows I can do the edit part. It does say private. I do see that. Privacy, private. I want to go out on a limb and say that's got to be something that maybe even Holmey has to do because he's like the lead honcho on here.
I believe the term is wizard.
Yeah. Man, so Penguin, why don't we'll just start talking about the two teams right now. LSU, who a lot of people at the beginning of the season had picked them to represent the SEC and the NDL in the national championship. Oregon, though, Pat will probably smirk here. Throughout the season, they took a lot of flack. Oregon did about their strength of schedule and everything, and obviously, Coach Shell's had his Ducks ready to play in the postseason here. So, Penguin, what's your take on the two teams in the national championship?
Well, like you said, LSU is not a hard pick when we were, filling stuff out at the start of the season and saying who we're going to see not just make the playoffs, but make it to the championship game. Bucknut took home the title last season, and this is his fourth season at the helm with the same group of players. So, if there's something to know about the talent on LSU, he knows it. And what talent they have, especially on the offensive side of the ball with the speed at running back. And was it like 4 or 5 wide receivers that are all super dangerous? He did have a few stumbles along the way, dropping a game by 6 to Ole Miss, and then also coming up short by 6 again to Alabama. Now, both those games are also on the road, so you got to take that with a grain of salt too. So, and then Oregon, I know I definitely had some things to say about their strength of schedule, as pretty much everyone else did. And in fact, we were even talking about if they stubbed their toe once along the way, is this even a playoff team? But since they got in fact, actually back it up, since the Big Ten Conference Championship game, they played a red-hot, very game Iowa Hawkeyes team. They dispatched them 28-3. They won a tough game over Ole Miss, and then they beat an equally tough Missouri squad. So, I think we can throw out any questions about if Oregon's deserving or has been tested to have, back-to-back wins over two of the SEC's best to get this opportunity.
Yeah, dynamite explanation right there. Oregon, kind of, you didn't know what you're getting. Obviously, I've been critical of the schedule, but they win the games on the field. That's all that matters. LSU, you have someone who's had the team for 4 seasons. Like you said, Penguin knows how to use the team, the talent. And then, Oregon, what's funny is we always think about Oregon's offense. If you go and look at the team stats page, go and look at that Oregon defense. And hey, maybe it's because the conference was down, but really, I believe 3rd least amount of points given up in the entire league. I think behind just Notre Dame.
Beasts at defensive tackle.
Yeah, exactly. So really interesting matchup tonight. I seriously have no idea who's going to win. I know we probably have to pick someone at some point, but it's going to be a thing where I have zero confidence in the pick. I think it's going to be a great game. They played last year in the quarterfinals or semis, I don't remember. And it was a close game, like mid-3rd quarter, and then I think there was like a big play and then followed by a pick or something, just going off memory.
Yeah, I believe a turnover flipped that game on its head, kind of.
Yeah, because they were tied in the middle of the 3rd quarter. So I think it's going to be something just like that. Like this, I don't think anyone's going to be a runaway winner tonight. That's for sure. That's
I think that I'm with you guys. I think that so here's a question for both of you. Do you think the long layoff between the LSU and Oregon, I think Oregon played sooner, but do you think that long layoff is going to have anything to do with the outcome of the game, or do you think it really matters with these coaches?
I don't know, but if it does impact it, I think the harm is to Oregon. And that, like we said, Bucknuts had this team for that long. At this point, no one. It's ingrained in his memory. He knows what's going on there. Sure, Shell's been at Oregon for a couple seasons, but just all that extra time. It's got to be muscle memory, calling the plays and knowing which players to use for the Tigers.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think both guys will probably hit the practice mode or play games along the way. I know someone was out of town. You never know someone's situation. Do they bring their PlayStation with them? I don't know. But I think there will be it's not going to be some layoff where they're just like going in cold turkey. I'm sure there's going to be a little quote unquote warm up going on somewhere sometime. this week or even, earlier today or something like that. And two really good players. So I think, that certainly won't be the reason someone wins or loses, I don't think.
I mean, I know at least for me with video gaming, sometimes when you overplay a game a lot, sometimes when you don't play for a couple days, even a week, sometimes when you come back, you can be a little refreshed and maybe you mix things up a little more than maybe you would have in the past. And I think that can maybe benefit someone.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Tim. You could definitely overplay the game, I think, and then like start like just leaning on the same plays and doing the same stupid mistakes. Like sometimes taking a breather is good,
Yeah, you start overthinking things. You'd be a little bit more over analytical on like, hey, what's going to work? Sometimes just going out and doing what you normally do would be your game plan. I know sometimes we've heard it in the chat before where people go into a game with a different game plan to stop someone's offense or defense, and it kind of messes you up because that's not something you normally do all the time. And so it'll be really interesting to see how the layoff affects or if it does affect any of these teams.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know I've definitely had some instances where some fresh eyes benefited me and, helped a situation, so I can see that being a factor.
Pat, who do you think? Do you have a breakout player for either team? Someone that's going to be a difference maker?
Yeah, and I'm forgetting. Is it Shell has one? Is it Tez Johnson? I'm just seriously going off memory. He's got a guy that he likes to throw deep to, and he's willing to do it multiple times a game.
Is that Stewart, maybe?
Yes, exactly. So Stewart is usually his receiver a lot on the left-hand side. He will definitely take shots like during a game like that. Anytime I play against Shell, played him a million times, I know that there's going to be at least 3-4 balls thrown over the top, and I think that's going to be your breakout guy for Oregon. And then I just think I think Nussmeier on the other side has to have a big game. I don't think he looked very good in the playoff game against Jiggy. It was a little shaky. So he'll definitely, I think he needs to be the breakout player for the Tigers.
Yeah. It's that same old story. I think turnovers are going to have everything to do with it. And for that reason, if I were to make a prediction that I feel good about regarding this game, I'm going to say the team that runs for more yardage will win the game. So being that, Oregon's had some moments on the ground, but we all know Caden Durham and his, 1,800 yards this season, and that guy, he gets a sliver, he's got that speed to just be gone in just a moment.
Yeah, for me tonight, it's the red zone production. You got to score touchdowns in these kinds of games to win. I think if someone gets held to field goals, obviously that's going to be kind of the thing I'll be watching for is the red zone efficiency. Whoever wins the red zone. I agree with you too. Whoever rushes for the most yards, typically I would think would win this game, but whoever, has that red zone production where they're scoring touchdowns and not kicking field goals is who will take it.
Solid point.
I think, all season we talked pretty poorly about Oregon and their strength of schedule and just their offense, and turnovers were always an issue because that was always an issue in the past. And I have a really hard time when you look at the Oregon Ducks team to jump on the bandwagon only because like their run game is fairly non-existent when you're talking about a whole season. They don't have a 1,000-yard rusher. If you combine their two best running backs, they have, about 1,100 yards total. To whereas you go to the other side of the ball, to where you got LSU 2,000-yard rusher. And their quarterback's thrown for 3,500 yards compared to 4,500. So that's the difference. But the turnovers are huge. 5 interceptions to 14 interceptions. And so I think what you guys have said, I'm definitely on board with you, is that it's going to be really important to see what team is able to establish the run and not turn the ball over. On the defensive side of the ball, they both have about the same amount of defensive touchdowns, but I really think that that's probably going to be a difference maker in this game. Is I see someone, like Kylan Jackson, safety for LSU, making a big play and able to return something for a touchdown. I think that could be the difference in the game.
Speaking of returns, that old Oregon Ducks team is good at returning kickoffs for touchdowns. Look for something like that as well, to swing the game open. I think he's got a guy on the team that was up for the returner of the year in our league. So he's got guys back there. He's good at returning kicks. He's also good at blocking field goals. Like special teams is definitely going to come into play.
And those returns on kicks, that's Evan Stewart right there, that star receiver. So I mean, he's going to be a factor for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it all play out. I definitely love to see it does warm my heart to see an old school guy in the championship game, just like when we had Steam in the championship game in the first season back. It's always good to see some of the old heads in there still keeping up on the stick skills. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. It'll make my soul feel better to see an old head win a title if it can happen. It's nothing against Bucknut, but I'll be able to tell myself that little bit of lie, like, look, it can happen for any of us. Now, is that true? No, it's not. But I'm going to still tell myself that lie if it goes that way.
So you talk about old heads. This is a good question that will probably pop in here. Because do you think with the national championship win here, do you think Shell would have a legitimate argument to say he's the greatest of all time in the NDL history? I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Does he have 6 national championships or is it just 3? Like when you go on this, I'm not 100% certain. I think it's just 3 and then Bucknut has 1. But I'm not 100% certain on that. I think Shell's won 3 Beefy Cups and 3 national championships is how I would look at that, but I may need some confirmation there.
Yeah, I mean, even 3's a lot, So, and then running the table and then like winning the actual CFP. I mean, yeah, he'd get my vote for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a strong case because, I mean, you've got guys who've been great before and since. But, yeah, I don't think, there's no resume I can think of that would touch what Shell would have with the title here.
And like, the 6 total trophies, if it's 3 and 3, if that's what it is, like, he was probably like in the other seasons, like 11 and 1. You know what I mean? It's not like he had like a 5 and 7 season. You know what I mean? It's always probably going to be really high percentage there, So.
Yeah. So it is 3 national championships and it is 3 cup championships. Yep. And in that also, we've got, you've got 3 unbeaten seasons. And one of those unbeaten seasons did not end up in a championship because remember, it's the BCS era. So winning all your games didn't necessarily guarantee it. So it's actually even more, he could arguably have one more trophy than he does.
Right. Well, they might be. I just totally lost track of time. They're fair enough here soon.
Well, yeah. So I told Shell's going to message me when he gets to streaming stuff up, and then we'll pull that up and be able to broadcast that championship game. I mean, it's something we talk about. Shell is one of the greatest of all time. What's really interesting, we had this new flow of new coaches that come in the league that obviously have been playing football in general a lot longer since the break than us with Madden and stuff like that. Is that we really wonder what makes them the greatest of all time, right? Like Bucknut has the chance to win 2 championships as well as he'll have 2 Beefy Cups. And so it's really interesting to think about when do the new coaches enter that argument as the greatest coaches of all time? Like how many seasons do they have to play to be one of the greatest in the NDL?
I think that conversation doesn't begin till the end of maybe this game. Just, one game, one season.
The game for sure.
Yeah. If you tell me we're a year from now and one of these new guys has 2 more trophies to add to his resume, then yeah, that person is definitely in that conversation. But I mean, the Shell goes out and wins himself another ring in that segment there too. I mean, that's a great debate to keep going there.
I feel like too, like some people don't play Madden. Like myself, I'll just use myself as an example, or maybe even Shell. I don't believe he plays Madden. Like it took some people a while to kind of warm it up and get good at the game and learn it. I never really felt very good like going into games until season 31, the 3rd season. Before that, like I just still was slow on adjustments and stuff, and would get caught like on pre-snap stuff on defense, adjusting stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I'd been playing Madden at the time, but still coming back was still a lot to learn and get a hold of. And me in season 4 here versus the first season back, I would destroy myself. Not the same player at all. But should we go ahead and make some predictions we're going to stick by as we get close to getting started up here?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, well, after I've talked myself both ways on this a bit, and to be honest, I want to pick Oregon absolutely. But having the experience of winning last year and just being battle tested again and again and again and winning games ugly, I think that's going to slide things in the favor of Bucknut and LSU, and I think they win this game by a touchdown.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't even be totally confident. I think Oregon stays in the game with big plays. But I just think Bucknut, like Tim mentioned earlier, the 2 losses this season on the road against really good teams, coaches. And I just think he's probably, I think there's 3 people that are in a separate tier than everyone else in our league, and he's obviously one of them. And I just think he wins. But I think it's close. It's like a 5-point game, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what I think. But Bucknut's going to end up pulling out. I think the defense will be the biggest difference, and I think it'll be a turnover in the passing game. I think Shell's going to lose a little momentum in that 4th quarter, and it'll be tough to battle back without being able to establish the run throughout all 4 quarters.
Yeah, the key to this thing too, and on Shell's